Today we're looking at page 93 in our textbooks and we'll be speaking about the building of the Berlin Wall in 1961. 1961 is still during the Cold War between America and the Soviet Union. We see Germany divided into two sides, East and West. East under Soviet Union or Communist rule and the West under Allied or Capitalist rule. Berlin itself is also divided into East and West, East under Soviet Union or Communist rule and the West under Allied or Capitalist rule. Millions of East Germans began to escape into West Berlin in search of a better standard of living and greater freedom. Most of the refugees were young and highly educated, and East Germany needed their skills. By the middle of 1961, 10,000 people were escaping to West Germany each week. The East German government needed to come up with a plan to stop people escaping to West Berlin. Supported by the Soviet Union, they decided to build a high wall to divide East and West Germany. A high wall was built that divided the city into two parts and was armed with machine gun posts, barbed wire and searchlights. It was heavily guarded and anyone who tried to cross from east to west was shot. The Berlin Wall became the most famous symbol of the Cold War, and it showed a clear division between communism and capitalism. Germany was the first crisis resulting from competition between superpowers during the Cold War. This competition soon spread to other parts of the world as well, almost in a domino effect. The superpowers interfered in local wars to support one side against the other. This resulted in civil wars in places such as Korea, Vietnam, and Angola. On to page 94 in our textbooks, and we will now see how the Cold War came to an end in 1989. In order to understand the events of 1989, we have to go back to 1985, when Mikhail Gorbachev became the new leader of the Soviet Union. He believed it was time for change, and although he supported communism, he knew it needed to be reformed. Jump forward 4 years and we see in 1989, the communist governments in Eastern Europe collapsing, the Cold War ending, and the Soviet Union breaking up. As the new leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev instituted two new policies, namely, to rebuild the Soviet economy, which would include bringing in some capitalist aspects, and secondly, to allow people the freedom to speak and criticize the government. This hadn't been allowed for 70 years. As a result, major changes in the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe became evident. Following Gorbachev's reforms, protesters all over Eastern Europe called for an end to communist rule in the following countries: East Germany, Poland, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, and Romania. A major event that occurred in 1989 was the fall of the Berlin Wall. The wall had divided Germany and Berlin in half for 28 years. On the 9th of November 1989, thousands of people in East Berlin marched to the Berlin Wall and started chopping away at the wall by hand. Bulldozers were then brought in to break down the wall completely. The wall, which had divided for 28 years, no longer existed. The following year, the people of East and West Germany voted for their two countries to be reunited. On the 3rd of October 1990, West Germany and East Germany ended 45 years of division that began in the aftermath of World War II by reuniting to become one nation.